Dear students, welcome to psychology class. Today we'll understand what is psychology. So before we begin with the subject, with the syllabus, what we will study in psychology, let me explain why psychology is so important, that in each and everyone's life it has an impact, or it has lots of implication in our day-to-day life. So when we say psychology, it is understanding about your behavior, human behavior, why a person behaves the way they do behave, what is their motivation, what is their emotion, how do they learn, how do they interact with other people, how society affects them, how the perception of other people affects their self-esteem, so forth and so on. So, when we say psychology, it is not only a discipline or a subject, it is your way of living, or it tells you about how you should deal with yourself as well as others. So it gives you understanding about who you are, what is your motivation, what is your emotion, how do you learn, what affects when someone says something to you, why does it affect you, and how you can change. So it enhances your self image, your life, personal life, as well as professional life, because no matter which profession you are, whether you are a psychologist, whether you are a teacher, a doctor, an engineer, an accountant, a guard, a, like a librarian, or any profession you can think of, whether you are doing a job or not doing a job, whether you are a housewife or you're a working woman, or you are working in India or abroad, wherever you will go, you have to deal with other human beings, because human beings are a social animal. They cannot live alone. They have to deal with other people and other individuals in their surroundings. So not only others individuals, rather even you have to understand yourself and you have to manage yourself. So understanding of psychology basically help you to understand yourself as well as others in which you will be working and dealing with. That is why I'm in love with psychology, and if I get a chance, I will ask everyone to study psychology, because it enhances, it improves your life, it improves your way of dealing with people, it makes it better. So, let's start with the structure of the examination which you will be preparing for. So, in psychology class 11, we have total 9 chapters. Number one chapter, we have what is psychology. This is for 7 marks, and this scheme of examination or scheme of weightage I have already given to you in the class. This is just to support you what PPTs, what notes I have shared it with you, so that it becomes easy for you to understand and get more clarification and understanding. Second unit or second chapter, we'll study about methods of inquiry in psychology. Why do we inquire about behavior? What are the different methods which we can use to understand human behavior? What are the different goals to understand? All that we will study in chapter number 2, which will be for 10 marks. We have chapter number 3, basis of human behavior, where we will understand biological functioning of a human being and how does it affects or impact your way of behaving, right? So there's a biological basis, there is a hormonal changes, the chemical reactions which happens, there are neurons which fires when you think or when you do something, and how does it affect your behavior. So this particular chapter carries 8% or 8 marks weightage. Then we have human development, chapter number 4 for 6 marks. We have chapter number 5, sensory, attentional and perceptual processes. How do we use our senses? We all have 5 senses, and in this chapter you will also study what are other senses which are internal, which you do not see, and how this affects our understanding about the world. And then how do we pay attention, what are different kinds of attention, what is the perception, how do we perceive, how do we make a different interpretation or meaning of what we see and what we observe in our surroundings. So all this we will study in chapter number 5, and it is for 8 marks. We have chapter number 6, which is learning. It's a beautiful chapter because it tells you about different methods, the way we learn, and we can enhance our learning in the classroom. We can help other people to enhance their learning, and this chapter is having 9 marks weightage. We have chapter number 7, human memory, and here we will study what are the different stages of memory, what are the short-term memory, long-term memory, how we can enhance our memory, and if we do not revise, or what are the different reasons for forgetting, why do we forget, and how we can enhance our memory and remember the things in a better way. And this chapter will carry 8 marks. Chapter number 8, thinking. What is critical thinking? What is creative thinking? What is inductive reasoning? What is deductive reasoning? All this we will. What is problem solving? Decision making. How do we decide? How decision making is different from judgment. All this we will study in chapter number 8, which is the thinking, carries 7 marks, and then the last chapter we will study chapter 9, motivation and emotion, and this will be having 7 marks. So total we have 70 marks theory, and we will have 30 marks practical. So when we talk about practicals, you must be wondering, psychology, what kind of practicals we will have? So in psychology, there are very interesting practicals which we have. I'll ask you to observe people, make a report. I'll ask you to conduct an interview, ask the person, give some activity to a person and observe his or her behavior. What is his motivation? Whether he gives up in one or two trial or not, or does he keep on looking for some or the different answers? So all these are interesting way to observe and understand other human beings. So this we will do in our practicals. So in practicals you will be having projects, small experiments, small studies we will be doing, and it undertake one project and conduct 2 experiments. So when we have the examination for practical, I'll be giving you one project or one activity, and you will conduct the activity and you will report. So 2 activities, and then you have to do the experiment and do the report writing. And this project would involve basically using of different methods of inquiry related to the skill, which we will study in detail chapter number 2. And then practicals would also involve conducting experiments and undertaking small studies, exercises which are related to topics covered in the course, like human development, learning, memory, perception, your motivation, and etc. So practical examination, so I will tell you the scheme. Number 1 is your practical file or experimental file, which will carry 5 marks. You will have project file, which will carry 5 marks. You will have viva, which will be based on what experiment you have done, what is theoretical background of that particular practical, that will be for 5 marks. And then in the final examination or practical examination, we'll have one experiment. 5 marks you'll be getting for conduction. How do you conduct? What kind of instruction do you give to your client or your subject? And 10 marks for reporting. So total will be for 15 marks conduction for practical, 5 marks for viva, and 5 marks for your practical file, and 5 marks for your project file. But here there is a little thing, like in project file and practical file I combine, and 5 marks I give for your notebook. So make sure that you also maintain a notebook, proper notebook, that you will have your marks for that. Okay. So let's begin what we will study in this particular chapter. What is psychology? So this particular chapter just gives you the introduction about what is the psychology, how psychology is considered as a discipline, whether will it come in natural science or will it come in social sciences, and what is the origin of the psychology, what is the evolution of psychology, the historical roots of psychology. We'll understand the difference between brain and mind, because most of the people have understanding that mind and behavior are same, but they are not same, and how the mind is connected with your behavior, whatever you're thinking, how your um, like behavior get affected with that. We will also study how psychology is different from uh, common notion of psychology, like what is common understanding about psychology. Because when I go and meet someone and say that, oh, I take psychology or I'm a psychologist, the first question they ask, Ma'am, do you read the face? No, I don't read face. I'm not an astrologer. I do not predict like that. But I'm a good observer. So I observe people, and whatever, as we will study in mind and how it affects your behavior. So whatever you think, whatever you feel, it comes in your verbal or non-verbal language, your body language. So we are good observer. We observe you for a period of time in a different context, and then we understand, okay, this particular person has a tendency to behave like this, and then we can give the prediction, but that prediction may not be necessarily 100% correct, but we try to reduce the error and try to maximize the accuracy of our prediction on behavior. This we will study in detail. So basically the first chapter will give you the idea about what is psychology, what are the different branches of psychology. As in medical we have different branches, where if you have problem with your eyes, you go to eye specialist, or your ENT specialist, or you go to the bone specialist. Orthopedic, you go to a gynae specialist. So there are different specialization in medicine. Same way we have different specialization in psychology. There are child psychologists, there are clinical psychologists, there are counseling psychologists. As you see me in the school, I'm counseling psychologist. And there are people who are working with the military, and now the new branches also have come up, like sports psychology. So there are many students, male and female both, they go for sports psychology as well. So there are different branches of psychology. We'll also understand what are the different themes of research in psychology, and how we can apply that particular knowledge in understanding and making our life better. So what is the application based of psychology? We'll understand how psychology is related with other discipline, like how psychology is related with engineering, how psychology is related with music and arts, how psychology is related with medicine, how psychology is related with law. So psychology has a relation, because as I said in earlier, starting with the video, that psychology is beautiful because it has the connection with each and everything what you do in your life. Whether you are a lawyer, whether you are a doctor, or any profession, or even if you are not working, you are a housewife, you have to deal with human beings. So that gives you the basic understanding and the connectivity between what psychology is and how it has the application in the day-to-day life. And we'll study how psychologists work, where do they work, and what is the implication of psychology in your day-to-day life. So this is the plan of this particular chapter. We will study in that. So let's start with the definition of psychology. So when we say psychology, and we start with the meaning of understanding the meaning of psychology, we earlier we were told that psychology, this term has derived from two Greek words, psyche, which means soul, and logos means a study or the science or a study of a subject. So it's a science or it's a study of soul or mind. But since then, it has moved considerably from this focus and established itself as a scientific discipline, because we cannot see soul, we cannot see mind. So people were getting really difficult to understand how psychology can be a scientific discipline. Then there were psychologists who came out with a different methodology, where they can use and make it more concrete, observable, measurable, which can be objectively seen and verified by other people. And then it has become a scientific discipline. And when we say scientific discipline, based on that, the new definition has come of psychology, which you need to remember and which you need to understand. So when we define psychology, it is basically a scientific study. It's a scientific study of what? Of mental processes, experiences and behavior of an individual or group of people in different contexts. So there are three parts of this. Number one is the scientific study. So when we say scientific, there are three main features which makes or which describes what is science. So it has to have objectivity, it should be observable, it should be measurable, can be verified. So these three, so any behavior can be observed, can be measured, and can be verified and objectively without bringing our personal biases. So that is why it is a scientific study. It's a scientific study of what? What do you study in this? So we study mental processes, what is going on in your brain, and we will study what different mental processes are. We'll study what is your experience, how your experience is different from other person, you know. So we will study experiences in different situations. We will study your behavior. Why do you behave in this way? What was your behavior? What is the reason behind it? And how we can change it if it is negative. So it's a scientific study of mental processes, experiences, and behavior, where in different contexts. If we do not understand the person's behavior in different contexts, we will do great injustice to human being, because one behavior can occur uh, because of the environment influence. For example, if I say that in your class a child does not study, and I observe him and find out that he does not study only in a particular subject class. Say, for example, psychology only. Just take the example of psychology. That he is good in, or he pays attention in all other classes. May not be good, but he pays attention. He does not misbehave, and he only misbehaves in my class or in a psychology class, and otherwise he is good. So I cannot say that misbehavior or indiscipline is a trait of this child or is a basic behavior of this child. Why? Because if he would have been bad, he would behave badly in all other classes as well. It means there is something which triggers in him by observing me, or there is something related with the subject that triggers him and changes his behavior, right? If he is behaving nicely in other classes, playground, at home, then we do not say the child is having a problem. Then we have to modify the environment, because there is a high chances that environment is influencing his behavior. But if his behavior is consistent in all the classes, in psychology also he behaves like this, in history also he behaves like this, in physical education also he behaves like this, at home with different people, maybe at parents or the teachers, his behavior is consistent. In all the situations, he behaves like this. Then we say the person is having this particular characteristics or indiscipline because everywhere he behaves like this. So when we say psychology, it's a scientific study of mental processes, your experiences, and behavior in different contexts. We need to understand you, placing you in different context or different situation. So if we see this particular definition, we have to understand the three terms which they are mentioning. Number one is your mental processes, and when we say mental processes, it is used when we think, we try to solve a problem, to know or remember something. So if we include mental activities, it is basically your number one, remembering, learning, knowing, perception, your feeling, all will come under the mental processes. How do you perceive? What is attention? What is sensation? How make the different interpretation? How do you remember? How do you know? How do you solve a problem? How do you make a decision? All these are part of mental processes. So you need to describe that mental processes. And when we talk about second is experience. Psychologists also study the experience of people, and experiences are very subjective in nature. So when we subjective in nature, it means it varies from person to person. Maybe two people like vanilla ice cream, but their liking may be different to a great extent, although they both like vanilla, but some people prefer less sweet, other people may prefer a little more sweet, or the quantity may be different, or their experiences may be very different. So it is subjective in nature, and we cannot observe directly your experience. We have to rely on your explanation about how you are feeling, how you are experiencing that particular event or that particular activity or the particular object, you know. And that is why it is subjective in nature, and sometimes it cannot be verified by other person, because I cannot verify how much you are liking this. You know, you may fake, you may just give a socially desirable answer, So with these few topics, uh, psychologists and scientists are still considering this subject in a social science and not exclusively as a science. So some part of psychology like behavior and all we can observe and verify it, whereas still the experiences and mental processes we can only infer and rely on the other person's information. And then the third important part, which is the term used in a definition of psychology, is behavior. So when we say behavior, it is basically the way you respond or react or make or do activities we engage in. So what kind of activities, what kind of response or reaction you give. So when something is thrown at you, your eyes blink, and it is called a simple reflex action. But there are many like situations where you have to think and take an action. And sometimes, like for example, you are taking an examination and you can feel pounding of your heart, and your heartbeat is just increasing as the examination is coming near and the paper you are getting in your hand, and you decide to go for a particular um, like you just get blank. You are not able to see what should I do. So that anxiety gives or behavior, and then you worry, and then you get up and you say, ma'am, I don't know, something is happening to me, or I need to go for the washroom or something. So that particular experience affects your behavior. So there are certain behaviors which are simple, they are complex, and certain behaviors which are internal or covert because they are not seen by other people. For example, you are playing a chess or you are playing cricket, and suddenly you get a twist in your hand, or some muscle get twisted. So I can't see that, but that is internal. It is happening. So you can only see. So that is why it is internal behavior. And there are overt behavior which can be observed by other people. So when you blink your eyes, when you smile, when you shout, or when you throw something at something, so this all we can observe. So behavior is basically a response or reaction or activities you engage in, and it can be overt, it can be covert. Overt means it can be observed from outside. Covert, it can be only experienced by you. So today, uh, this is all for today. I will meet you in next class. So let me summarize. We have studied how psychology has the origin in the like a Greek word. The origin of psychology, the word has come from the two words. Psyche means soul and mind, and logos means study or scientific study of some object. And then it moved to the scientific discipline, and we say psychology is a scientific study of mental processes, experiences, and behavior in different contexts. And you have to define what is mental processes, what are mental processes, what is experience, and what is behavior. And behavior is divided into covert and overt behavior. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.